Hi there, Maxine. All right, so I opened up your file here in Illustrator, and I just want to show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm not having any trouble grabbing all of your objects here using the regular selection tool and moving them around. So I'm not sure why you're not able to do that unless you're just trying to move maybe that, but even that's working for me. So I'm not sure what the issue is. You may need to set your or change your preferences up here. Okay, especially like selection. All right. For right now, though, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get you a little bit of a head start and clean up some of your file. You have some extraneous marks, and I'll try and get this to what I think you're trying to do. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is actually go to outline mode, and this allows me to see all your objects so that I know which ones you really don't need right now. Okay, so these, you don't need any of these. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this stuff. And it looks like you got some extraneous marks over here. I'm going to delete those too. Because when you have had these extra objects that you're not using, it really does make it harder on you. I'm going to move that one down here for a moment. I'm going to delete all of these. That looks like an extra one there. Oop, those are grouped together, so I'm going to ungroup those. You still got something grouped there. I might redo that text instead, okay? Now here, you got a good start here, but I'm going to make sure that all these circles are the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all but one. I'm just going to keep that one. You got something here, delete that. That's the rectangle, yeah, okay. All right, so now you have this. And this object, looks like you got a group of objects grouped together. I wouldn't normally tell a designer to do it in this manner because this is going to make it really hard to control. I know you're just learning and this is the way that you found that it would work for you, and that's okay. But just for future reference, this is not your best method of working. It makes it a whole lot harder to work. You really want to work in solid objects that you can manipulate. All right, let me go back to overprint preview. That's our standard look. Okay, this white circle. I'm going to go ahead and make copies of this. There's a couple different ways you can make copies. If it's just a simple object like this, it's easy enough just to copy and paste. So you can use the keyboard shortcuts, or you can also come up here and use these. I pretty much always use keyboard shortcuts for certain things, and that's one of them. You can also hold down your Option key if you're on a Mac. Trying to remember what key it is on the PC. It's not Option. I'd have to look it up, sorry. But for the Option key on a Mac, it's easy enough just to do this. And once you have a group of them, you can kind of line them all up using your align. And you'll notice I have certain things that I keep open all the time. This is just my standard stuff that I always keep open. And Align and Pathfinder are two of those because I use them all the time. And then these are my pen tools because I use those all the time too. Okay, now something else that you can do is something called distribute. And that's also a nice way of kind of getting a series of circles like this. I'm going to go ahead and put a black outline on these just temporarily, just so you can see it more easily. Okay, and I go into Align. I'm going to use distribute, which is that one. And when you use distribute, it makes the space between them all the same. Okay, so now I'm going to take that group, I'm going to group it, I'm going to bring it down here. Okay, I'm going to grab all of these items, and I'm going to use my Pathfinder tool down here. Okay, this makes separate objects of everything. And I'm going to ungroup that. And I'm going to delete all these bits because I don't need them anymore. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't look much like a wave right now, but that's okay. There's still some other stuff that we can do to make it work a bit better. Okay, so now all I have right now is just this single object. I can go into outline to make sure that I know what I'm looking at. Okay, and there's a couple things that I can do here, and it really is an experimentation most of the time. I'm going to use round corners for starters. I'm going to probably also use something on the distort and transform. And actually, that's another way of doing a wave. I might try warp. I don't know. I'm just going to try a couple things here and just see what I like. Okay, there's a couple different ways of doing a wave thing, and it just kind of depends on the look you like. Stylize around corners will soften this already. Okay, you see it's kind of subtle, but you might be able to tell it's just rounding those corners off a bit. I still don't like that though, really. Let me try that. You see how it rounded the corners? Now to get the path to rewrite in this manner, you have to go to Object and Expand Appearance. Make sure that your object is selected when you do this. Okay, and it rewrites the path to that. Now it currently has a white stroke. It doesn't need to have a white stroke. I have no need for a stroke of any sort on this. Okay, so I'm just going to select it and ungroup it, and now take the stroke off. It says it doesn't have a stroke, looks like it has a stroke. Ah, there we go. It separated that, no problem. We'll just delete that one then, we don't need it. Okay, so now we have a blue object, no stroke. Alright, so I'm still not super pumped about that wave. Oops. I think what I'd like to do, let me see if I can grab these points and see if I can do something with them. Otherwise, I might try a different technique. I'm not sure I'm super pumped about that either. Not really. Slightly more wave-like, but it still isn't a look I really care for. I think I'm going to try something else. I'm going to use this. I'm going to turn on my grid so that I get the bottom straight here. Oops. Escape.